GamingBolt presents 15 more video game bosses that are borderline impossible to defeat. We've explored numerous bosses in video games, from the hilariously weak to the oddly designed. While there have also been bosses that let you walk all over them, there are also those that seem unbeatable. This isn't to say they're actually unbeatable, but different folks will have different strokes in the process. We've outlined 15 bosses that can be borderline impossible to defeat in the past, so let's take a look at 15 more bosses that fit the bill. Dark Samus, Hyper Mode, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Dark Samus can be quite the annoyance when you're trying to wrap up Samus's latest adventure. However, play on Hyper Mode and it's a whole other ballgame. Her attacks can be difficult to dodge, she dishes them out frequently, and you then have to deal with another boss right after. Suffice to say, you better know what you're doing when fighting her. The Diggernaut, Metroid Samus Returns. Hey, remember that one boss which could one-hit kill you with a single hit when in pursuit? The proper boss battle with Diggernaut isn't as punishing, but it still hits for 150 damage. Don't get sucked up inside of it either, since that deals 300 damage. There's no opportunity for counters, it drops toxic nonsense from the ceiling, fires shockwaves, and has incredible reach, and even more hilariously, it fires lasers. Just why? Shao Kahn, Mortal Kombat 3. Everyone who was a Mortal Kombat fan in the old days could agree on one thing. Shao Kahn was a nightmare. Not only did he look terrifying, but he loved spamming shoulder charge, could effectively stun you with his wrath hammer, and fired green projectiles if you tried creating some distance. If you gained any kind of self-respect from winning over Motaro, then Shao Kahn beat it right out of you. Lingering Will, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. The ultimate boss of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Lingering Will, is fast. That goes for its movement speed and attacks, both which become faster if the ends of the Earth Keyblade transforms. That's not counting the summoned drones, which fire lasers, and a seal which can insta-kill Sora if he chooses the wrong command. Good luck when finding the right times to attack. Orphan of Kos, Bloodborne. This insanely hard and the toughest boss in Bloodborne is simply overwhelming. A single hit will either remove huge chunks of health or end you immediately. Not only that, but he moves extremely fast, making it quite hard to dodge its attacks. Don't fight him unless you're incredibly skilled at dodging and ready to make no mistakes, like literally 0 mistakes. Darkeater Midir, Dark Souls 3 The Ringed City. It's only fitting that one of the most punishing bosses in Dark Souls 3 should be a dragon. Darkeater Midir is difficult for many reasons, but you have the camera and its hitbox working against you from the start. A high health pool, tons of damage, an area of effect strike, Darkeater Midir has it all and isn't afraid to use it. Senator Armstrong, Revengeance Mode, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Senator Armstrong in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance was already kind of annoying, but Revengeance Mode takes this to a whole new level. No, not because of the fight with Excelsis, which is punishing, nor the final battle with his nanomachine-infused being, also tough. We're talking about the part where he fights you hand-to-hand because a single hit will kill you. Whittling his health down to progress is also pointless. The only thing you can do is run, which isn't immediately obvious. The Fanatic, Darkest Dungeon: The Crimson Court. Darkest Dungeon is known for its sadistic enemies and scenarios, forcing you to make tough decisions for the betterment of the long-term mission. But the Crimson Court's Fanatic is just wrong, showing up randomly if you have any vampires or infected heroes in your party. With 3 actions in each turn, the Fanatic will take a character and burn them at the stake. Cut them down and the Fanatic receives a buff. Run away and he chases you. Abandon any party member at the stake and they're dead forever. Yeesh. Hyper Silver Rathalos, Monster Hunter Generations. Billed as the toughest foe in Monster Hunter Generations, it is very good at dishing out the pain. Its armor is tough, but even if you break through, there's still an enormous health pool to deal with. His fireballs and explosions have been enhanced thanks to its hyper status, and yes, his physical attacks are very damaging. Flash bombs and traps help, but when taking him on that too solo, you'd best know all of his patterns and attacks. Xhul'horac, World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor. Oh look, one of the craziest raid bosses in World of Warcraft ever. Introduced in Warlords of Draenor, Xhul'horac had this marvelous debuff that made players drop fire on the ground. The fire could be green or purple, and if they ever touched it, then the entire group suffered from explosion damage. Then there are the Imps and Voidwalkers who also drop green and purple fire if they aren't killed. There are definitely tougher bosses in the game's history, but Xhul'horac required an amount of coordination and communication. Flamelurker, Demon Souls. Flamelurker lives up to its utter badass profile in Demon Souls. It's an early encounter which is most brutal, especially due to its fire attacks and imposing personality. You'll need to bring your best skills, the best armor, and the best weapons to take this foe down, and trust me, it's not an easy fight. The Yellow Devil, Mega Man 1. Listen, we love Mega Man, we really do, but the Yellow Devil can go straight to hell. He essentially splits up into pieces, reforms, and fires a projectile at you with his eye. Sounds simple, but you have to dodge the pieces, dodge the projectile, and shoot him in the eye for the few seconds that it's exposed. The whole process is tediously difficult, and it still takes a while for those who know what to do. Justice, Guilty Gear. The big bad of the first Guilty Gear is Justice, and she's crazy powerful. Along with Gamma Ray, which will eat your health even while blocking, she benefits from casting endless supers when her health gets low, like all other characters. Michael Sword and Imperial Ray are similarly disastrous to deal with. Her attack range is increased while dashing, and Valkyrie Arc is her uber counter to everything. Yiazmat, Final Fantasy XII. There are super bosses, and then there's Yiazmat in Final Fantasy XII. With more than 50 million HP, Yiazmat is capable of hitting your entire party very easily. Its attacks have a 5% chance of instant death, but he's strong enough to kill anyone in a few hits anyways. Below 50% HP, all of your attacks are capped at 6,999 damage, which was removed in the Zodiac versions of the game. Even with other changes made in the more recent versions, Yiazmat can still take up to an hour if you know exactly what you're doing. Merasmus, Team Fortress 2. Merasmus appeared during the Halloween event in Team Fortress 2. While he's been nerfed pretty fairly over the years, he's still incredibly tough to put down. He essentially spawns during PvP matches on certain maps, and if both teams don't work together, he'll never die thanks to his high health and the limited time available. His tactics include lots of teleporting and throwing bombs for heaps of damage. When down to half health, he goes into prop hunt mode and hides among various props, which can take a while to destroy while he heals during this stage. While the nerfs do make him easier to deal with, failure to kill him will make him level up for the next fight. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.